The phenomenon is not going to go away. I mean, it's gotten easier to collect data. People are finding new, useful ways to use the data that's being collected. Computers are not going to get any slower. We're not going to get any dumber about working with data. So if the phrase does get overhyped and we have to come up with a new phrase, that's fine, but the phenomenon is real and it's here to stay.
People talk about big data and everybody's aware of it. And so there is a lot of hype. And really the question is then, was today just about jumping on the bandwagon of big data, and so is it just some hype? And I say absolutely yes, because it's really about, because people are starting to ask about big data and people are becoming aware of it, then that's really the way that we open the door to being able to do our business with their business.
How do we manage these huge data sets? So focusing on the how, the time has certainly come for us to focus on that, because the streams of data are just continuing to grow and there's no sign of them ever slowing down. So we have to address that issue.
Because of the collection of large sets of data now in lots of different organisations, new statistical problems have arisen, and that needs our attention as methodologists.
We are trying to look for and help develop methodologies that allow us to do the things that we want to do. So at the moment, because we're trying to deal with very complex systems that have very complex dynamics, it's really difficult to understand and predict how those systems are going to operate, how to manage them effectively. And so it really does come down to how are we going to do this.
The issue of big data is really open doors to people thinking about how to use the data from their organisations or from government or for schools or for communities, and it gives us an opportunity as statisticians to be really able to engage with those people and to start asking those questions and using the data then to answer the questions that they have.
Interesting time in statistics, because there's a lot of large data problems around and statisticians are turning their attention to it, and having a group of people like this all engaged and talking about large data problems and statistical methodology to help solve them is a great time.
I could see from many presenters actually some of the solutions for the problems, for instance, we had in our data processing pipelines. So that's, you could see, you have the problem and you can actually talk to somebody who actually solved it already, right? So you can talk to, and I have actually, after my presentation, I have exactly the same. So somebody came to me and said, you might have infrastructures that we can use directly as well.
There was a speaker this morning, and then I spoke this afternoon, and we talked about how those things might work together. And the speaker before me was from CSIRO. And I learned about an initiative that I had been unaware of, and it really has the potential to improve our research and probably also save us a bunch of money.
These gatherings are wonderful because they bring together the best, brightest folks together. They start talking about the things they've learned, how they can build on those, how they can learn from each other, because collectively we all benefit from society if we learn how to harness some of the data that society is producing.
It's nice to see a workshop which is combining both academic and industry in the one place. When you get an opportunity to speak to someone like Steve Scott from Google, who is working with obviously large amounts of data, large technical expertise, strong hardware and software, and looking really into the same goldfish bowl that we are when we work.
I think that where we are now is people are getting to the point where they can take the big data and actually fit mathematical models on top of it that are more than computing this average or that average, right? Where I hope to go in the near future is being able to take those mathematical models and incorporate proper descriptions of uncertainty on top of it. Right. So in addition to making your estimate, you'll also get confidence bounds and Bayesian posteriors and that kind of stuff. So I think that's what the future holds, and hopefully it's not too distant.